Hello everyone, welcome to Higher Study Prep, a complete guideline for higher education. We are back with 1000 high frequency vocabulary series. We are going to talk about a few high frequency words, their meaning, mnemonics to remember them by, example sentence, antonyms, and synonyms. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The first word for today's series is Burish, which is an adjective meaning rough and bad-mannered. One such example is, though Mr. Samuel is a man of coarse speech, the butler always ignores his boorish behavior silently. The mnemonic for remembering the word boorish can be broken down as boo the reach. A boo reach event or person is characterized by a lot of booing and thus is ill-mannered, coarse, and insensitive. Remember, the root word boor denotes a rough and bad-mannered person. Some synonyms for the word boorish can be rude, impolite, coarse, uncouth, churlish, whereas some antonyms can be polite, courteous. Caustic. It's an adjective meaning sarcastic in a scathing and bitter way. An example of the word caustic can be, James felt sick by the caustic comments of his class teacher about the result of his last examination. The mnemonic for remembering the word caustic can be cause to corrode by being sarcastic. Another way of remembering this word can be using the synonyms, which is acerbic, acrimonious, rancorous, or virulent. Some example of antonyms are amiable, admiring, and kind. Belie is a verb which means to give a false impression or fail to give a true impression of something. One example could be, Jane's smile belied the grief she was feeling. Despite her happy appearance, she was terribly sad inside. The mnemonic for remembering the word can be helped if we break it down to be plus lie, that is, become a lie, where something becomes a lie or gives a false impression. Some synonyms that can help you remember the word belie can be controvert, falsify, or contradict. Some antonyms are verify, confirm, etc. Capricious. It's an adjective which means given to unaccountable changes of mood or behavior or unpredictable. One example could be, the capricious attitude of April always keeps her parents under apprehension to predict her next erratic mood. The mnemonic for remembering this word can be helped if we break it down as ca or cur plus precious, which means price. So it can be thought of that the price of some cars are always unpredictable, and that way we can remember the word capricious. Some other synonyms that can help remembering this word better can be changeable, volatile, fickle, vacillating, or whimsical. Some antonyms for this word is stable, steady, consistent. Banal, which is an adjective. It means lacking in originality, as to be obvious and boring, or in general words, unoriginal, ordinary. An example of the word banal could be, Mr. Mark is thinking to switch his job because the work is filled with repetitive function and has become banal to him. The mnemonic to remember this word could be banal, which is boring at all, or ban all. In other words, we can remember it by saying, I'd like to ban all banal words since they're so boring. The synonym for this word can be trite, cliché, vapid, platitudinous, unoriginal, or hackneyed. The antonyms for this word could be original, fresh, lively. Diatribe. It's a noun meaning a forceful and bitter verbal attack against someone or something. An example could be, during the lengthy diatribe delivered by his opponent, Jim remained calm and quiet without commenting. The mnemonic for remembering this word could be diatribe equal to die plus a plus tribe, or in other words, diabolical or frightful tribe. In this case, you can try imagining two tribes engaged in a verbal exchange, shouting at the top of their voices incessantly. Some synonyms that might help you remember the word diatribe better could be tirade, harangue, invective, denunciation, polemic, fulmination. Whereas some of the antonyms are approbation, acclamation, admiration. Buttress. It can be used as noun or verb, which means a source or structure of support, or when we use it as a verb, we can say that to support or strengthen. An example could be, the architects provided strong buttress for the walls of cathedral, which led them to uphold the structure for centuries. The mnemonic for this word can be broken down as buttress, or better aid as truss. Truss is applied and created to support and strengthen any kind of structure. Synonyms for the word buttress can be prop, fortify, abutment, or reinforce, or in case of noun, reinforcement. For antonyms, it can be weaken, spoil, or undermine. Audacious. It's an adjective meaning showing a willingness to take surprisingly bold risks. An example of audacious can be, Smith is audacious enough to bridge the gap between two mountains by dint of only a long jump. The mnemonic of audacious can be broken down as audit dares to be courageous, or another easy way could be to pronounce it like, instead of audacious, to pronounce it like how dare she is. That means how daring she is, and that will help you remember the word better. Some synonyms of the word audacious can be brave, intrepid, valiant, courageous. Some antonyms could be timid, fearful, and afraid. Now remember, sometimes the word audacious can be used negatively to insinuate the word rudely bold or ill-mannered, or showing an impudent lack of respect. Complacent is an adjective, which means willing to please others or to accept what they do or say without protest. One example could be, accustomed to VIP treatment, the Queen expected the local people to be complacent. The mnemonic for remembering the word complacent, we can break it up as come plus ply plus cent, or the word cent can be thought of as saint, where we come to make a plea to the saint by being obliged for spiritual blessings. Some other synonyms to remember the word complacent by could be acquiescent, obliging, compliant, and some antonyms could be reluctant or unwilling. Now remember, there's another word, complacent, that sounds quite similar, but the spelling is different, and so is the meaning. The word complacent means showing smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievement. Obsequious is an adjective, meaning obedient or attentive to an excessive or servile degree. An example is, Peter always tries to show that he's an obsequious disciple of his master, but the craft sometimes originates a degree of annoyance. The mnemonic for remembering the word obsequious can be helped if we divide it into three parts, ob, sequi, and us, with emphasis on sequi, which means sequence, where one thing follows the other. For example, servants follow what their masters say, as shown in the example. Some synonym for the word obsequious could be servile, submissive, ingratiating, oleaginous, sycophantic, or unctuous, whereas some antonyms can be domineering, assertive, imperious. Convolute. It's a verb which means making an argument or story complex and difficult to follow. One example could be, the argument of the CEO was so convoluted that Robin needed to think for hours to understand it. The mnemonic for the word convolute can be broken up into conversation plus lute, which can be thought of as looting or making someone or a situation so complex or difficult with the conversation that it becomes very difficult to understand. Some synonym could be convolve, twist, entangle, intricate, whereas some antonyms could be extricate, disentangle, untwine. The word bemuse is a verb which means to puzzle, confuse, or bewilder someone. An example could be, the mysteries of the haunted house bemused Mr. Red as a detective with so many puzzling questions to answer. The mnemonic of the word bemuse can be broken down as bewilder a man to confuse. Some of the synonyms of bemuse can be astonish, baffle, confound, startle, or mystify, whereas some antonyms can be comprehend, enlighten, or clear. Ameliorate. It's a verb meaning make something better which was previously bad or unsatisfactory. An example could be, the patience, perseverance, and effort of the employees have helped ameliorate the financial loss and increase the profit for the company. The mnemonic for ameliorate could be amend, to raise, and mitigate. Some synonyms for the word are improve, enhance, or upgrade, whereas the antonyms could be deteriorate, aggravate, or exacerbate. Kundan. It's a verb meaning to accept a behavior that is considered morally wrong or offensive. An example could be, Team Blue noticed the street signs and stopped right where road ends, but Team Red condoned the signs, went ahead, and became entrapped by the water. The mnemonic for the word kundan could be consideration tone or considering anything to give a tacit approval, overlooking the offense. Some synonyms for this word can be to disregard or overlook, whereas some antonym could be condemned or punish. Decorum, which is a noun, meaning behavior in keeping with good taste and propriety. An example is, Dr. Miranda is very pleased with her students as they follow the decorum of her class lectures and exam procedures. The mnemonic for the word decorum could be by breaking them down as decor or decorate them, or decorate the things in accordance with the instruction to maintain the appropriacy. The synonyms for the word decorum could be propriety, appropriacy, decency, or correctness, whereas the antonyms could be impropriety or misconduct. Let's have a look at this paragraph where we apply all of the vocabulary words learned today. Try to remember their meanings as we read through the passage together. The Burish behavior and caustic comments of the leader seemed to belie pledges he had taken earlier. The Capricious leader's worn-out pledges have made his works seem banal. The diatribe of him against the mainstream media buttressed the general mass and to stand against him audaciously. Accustomed to regular VIP treatment, the leader expected his followers to be complacent, if not totally obsequious. His argument was so convoluted that all his disciples were bemused to follow correctly. In this case, the mayor said that everyone's condition would be ameliorated according to his work and action. He added, whatever will be done will never be condoned to sustain the decorum of the Democrats. With that, we would like to finish today's series of 1000 words. Thanks for watching. If you found this content useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please leave a comment with feedback on the video and how we can improve. Have a nice day.